What's up, everybody? It's your boy Coach Gotti coming at y'all with another video. In this video, we're gonna get into my results for my Week 10 predictions. Before we start, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's ride. Starting off, we had Maryland and Wisconsin. I picked Maryland to win. I figured they'd be able to score enough points. We all know Wisconsin normally has a defense. They really ain't had no kind of offense all season, so I figured Maryland would be able to put up enough points. But I didn't think about Maryland's defense, obviously, and they lost the game. Then we had Baylor and Oklahoma. I picked Baylor to win. I figured they was going to bounce back. I figured defense would be a factor. It was a close game, won by a field goal, but Baylor won. Then we had Syracuse and Pitt. I chose Pitt to win. Syracuse, just since that Clemson lost, they're just downhill. That shit killed their spirits. That shit happens all the time. Especially for a team like Syracuse, a team that don't even really do good. And then they on a run, undefeated, getting ranked, getting shine. Then they lose. Then they lose. And then they lose. So I took Pitt. Pitt won that game. Then we had Tennessee and Georgia. Of course, I picked my dogs. And I said no matter who won, Tennessee or Georgia, it would be a blowout. And yeah, if you ain't watched the game and you look at the scoreboard, 27-13, that don't really look like a blowout. But if you watch that game, that was domination, all right? And the reason I said I feel like it'd be a blowout regardless is because, for one, I feel like Georgia was going to have the game plan. They seen Bama, they seen Kentucky, they seen LSU, they seen Pitt, they seen Florida, they seen all the teams that Tennessee had ran through, and they got to watch it all. They got to study it, see the mistakes, and work on it, come up with their own game plan, what will work. But the reason I said it'd be a blowout either way is because if that game plan didn't work, if the game plan did not work, Tennessee would have definitely ate them up. But it worked. Georgia won. Tennessee fell. Still a bitch. Moving on to the next. We have Michigan State against Illinois. I chose Illinois. Illinois folded. Their defense been staying strong all year. I mean, the defense didn't do bad against Michigan State, but they ain't do good enough. Michigan State got the win. Then we had Texas and Kansas State. I picked Kansas State. I don't feel like Texas is a real big dog. Kansas State, I don't really feel like they are either, but I thought being at the house, being on the hot streak that they was on, I feel like them and, Adrian Martinez and them boys was going to get the win. They didn't. Texas won. Then we had Bama and LSU, and I chose Bama. I'm pretty sure most people did, but LSU came to play. Came down to overtime. Bama scored. LSU got the ball. They scored, and Brian Kelly said, fuck it. We either going to win or lose right here. He rolled the dice, and he hit the 7. He won. You got to give the man props. He had big balls on that shit, and it paid off. I call it a desperation move, but regardless, you got the win against Bama, and that's something to brag about. Then we had Clemson and Notre Dame. I picked Notre Dame. I picked them in the offseason as my predictions to beat Clemson, and they really ain't looked the part throughout the season, but Clemson at the same time, they've been suspect all year. The offense is suspect. Notre Dame exploited that shit. They capitalized on that shit, and they got the win. Then we have Florida State and Miami. I chose Florida State to win the game. Miami's got a lot of shit wrong with them. They just don't seem to click. One game they might click here, one game they might click there. They might click for half a game, but they just don't click. Florida State, even though they lost to Clemson, Wake Forest, and North Carolina State, right? That's the teams they lost to. Either way, them boys been looking good. Even in those games, they look good. They've looked good all year for the most part. So I had to take them. I didn't expect them to win the way that they did win, but a win's a win. Then we had Wake Forest against North Carolina State. I took Wake Forest mainly because North Carolina State's quarterback's out for the year. He's been out for a couple weeks now. But them boys showed me they don't need him to beat Wake Forest. North Carolina State got the win. That put me at 5-5 for the week, which is not acceptable. We are not proud of that. We want 7 wins or better. So we're going to bounce back next week and try to run the table on that shit. hit the like and subscribe button. Catch all my content when it drops. My week 11 predictions will be dropping soon. It's your boy Coach Gotti, and I'm out.